All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin in the crypto markets. Okay, guys, Bitcoin hits new all-time highs today and is maintaining above the all-time highs, breaking out of this range, seeing a true breakout of the range of the past about 5 weeks of price action, and is breaking into new levels of price discovery. Along with Bitcoin breaking out, we are seeing a lot of the alts starting to recover and starting to bounce and take off again. So, very exciting times for Bitcoin, very exciting times for the crypto market. And where now that Bitcoin is in price discovery, where can we look for the next major resistance targets on Bitcoin? Well, if we look at our key pitchforks that have guided us through these moves, let's go ahead and stay on the Coinbase chart. We'll go on to the 4 hour chart. And at the bottom band of this pitchfork was where we bounced at the 112 and then 112.7K area. We have now broken the first time we hit into that pitchfork midline, we had a rejection, came down, and we bounced from the point of control of the range, breaking our range to the upside today and breaking above that midline with some volume in this move. And the next major pitchfork target, pitchfork resistance for this particular pitchfork is going to be coming up around $129,000, right up at the bottom of the pitchfork. The top of the pitchfork band is going to be coming in around $130,000 to $131,000. And then the very top of the pitchfork, now this will take some time, but about $137,000, $138,000. But I want to go on to our now this pitchfork was pulled from our 74K lows. If we zoom back out to the daily chart, it was just pulled from our 74K lows up to our major all-time high that we made in May, down to those 98.2 correction lows. But if we go ahead and come on to our other chart here, where we have our much bigger pitchfork, which has guided us really through this entire year of 2025, it's given us every major swing move, rejecting from the top of the pitchfork in November and December, lose holding the upper band, the lower part of the upper band for months. Once we lost it, we back tested the midline. We came down to the lower band of the pitchfork, just like we saw on the Coinbase chart on smaller time frames, bouncing from the lower band of the pitchfork and making its way up to the upper band. Well, if we come here, we bounced from the lower band of the pitchfork. We worked our way up to the upper band. We saw a rejection from that upper band, a three-wave correction, a zigzag family correction to backtest that midline. And once we backtested that midline at 98.2, we gave it another shot hitting into the top of the pitchfork band, rejected, saw a little bit of a higher low, and now we are breaking back inside the pitchfork band again. But if we look, the top of this pitchfork band is still going to be acting as resistance for us. And oftentimes you will see multiple rejections at the top of these pitchfork bands. So if we zoom in here on the 4 hour chart, what I will show you is the next major level for the top of this pitchfork band is going to be coming in around right around $126,000. And I do think that is a level that I will absolutely be taking some profit on my long positions. I'm still long from that 112.7 lower band of the Coinbase pitchfork. And my next take profit is going to be 126K. If we break the 126K level for this pitchfork in particular, the next major level is going to be coming up into that $141,000, $142,000 level. Now, let's go on to one more pitchfork. This is our macro multi-time for multi-cycle pitchfork. This is the most important pitchfork that we are following. And if we look at this pitchfork, we remember we rejected. Let's actually zoom out here onto the 2 day chart, and we'll get a look at how well this pitchfork has given us every major move in this entire bull market, all the way down from 2022. You can see here at the bottom of 2022, we came up, we rejected from that lower band of the pitchfork in here, worked our way to the top of the lower band, rejected, came, finally flipped that band to support, worked our way up to the midline. That was our 2024 all-time high at the midline. We corrected for 8 months, back testing that band, bounced from that band, got above the midline, chopped, held it as support for a couple months in that all-time high range in November through February, lost it. Now, when we came down, we didn't come down to the major pitchfork level, but that's because we bounced from another, this cycle's wave 3 pitchfork band. Now, we are breaking, we attempted another shot at that midline, rejected, lower high, rejected it again. But you can see now locally, we're breaking back above that midline. And if we zoom in here onto the 4 hour chart, you can see what happened today And over the last couple days, well, we spent about a month trying to maintain above it. We lost it. Now we have reclaimed it, back tested it, and we are continuing pushing to the upside here. The really on this pitchfork, with it being such a high time frame multi-cycle pitchfork, our next resistance on this pitchfork is not going to be up until about $200,000. And I would suspect that we are not going to make it up there anytime soon, but we do need to pay attention to these major targets. So 126,000, 129,000, 137,000. Those are my three major targets for price discovery in the next months coming. Bitcoin is looking strong. And if we go ahead and now we'll go into our open interest charts, our CVD and open interest. Let me just refresh this here. I want to show you guys what is happening on the aggregated open interest. And this is why this is so important for Bitcoin, what's happening right now. If we look at this open interest charts and we look at just the last, let's actually zoom out to the 15-minute chart. And we look at the last few days of price action since we bottomed out, back testing that point of control. That is, let's go ahead and come in here. We'll go to the Coinbase chart. We'll zoom in on the 2-hour time frame. And from this back test of the point of control right here, this very important back test of the point of control, you can see we've been on a pretty vertical move from there. If we go on to our open interest charts from this area, we can see some very, very bullish signals building in our order flow. If we look at our order flow, we are seeing Bitcoin making higher lows in the price action. Our CVD from that point is making lower lows in the CVD. That means more of the active market participants are shorting the market, but Bitcoin is not able to make new lows. But the most important aspect of all of this is our open interest from that area has been consistently and steadily rising to the upside. That means new positions are opening. A majority of those positions are short positions, and we know that based off of our CVD. And so we are seeing bullish absorption at all-time highs on a breakout of all-time highs and a breakout of the range of the past 5 weeks. We are seeing bullish absorption on the aggregated open interest charts. This is hyper bullish to me, and this does tell me that Bitcoin might continue at least up to that $126,000 target, but potentially up to 129K or even 137K. So we are seeing this bullish absorption continue to build on the charts, on the aggregated open interest charts, and Bitcoin is just looking very, very strong. If we go onto our heat maps here, let's go to the aggregated heat map. You can see now a majority of the liquidity is going to be resting below us. It's going to be back inside that range, and we really do not want to break back inside that range. Let's actually go to the last year of price action, and we'll put on the last year of price action. You can see that we have now taken out a majority of the liquidity all around and above us. We do have some slight liquidity up into that $126,000 area. You can see this small bubble of liquidity up here ends right at about $126,000. Now, the majority of the liquidity is to the downside, and that is going to be a little bit of a warning signal for Bitcoin that, yes, we're in price discovery. So obviously there's not a lot of stop losses that are in price discovery, not a lot of liquidity resting up there. But that liquidity below us will act as a magnet. So what we want to see for Bitcoin is we want to see it maintain and hold above the value area high of the breakout range, of really above 120K. 120K for Bitcoin is going to be key support. If we do break down now, and first off, we do not want to lose our midline, which is coming in around 122,400, I'll say, 122,300, 122,400. And then more importantly, the value area high of the last 5-week range at 120K. We really want to maintain above these levels, because if Bitcoin does see an attempted breakout above these, not only the pitchfork midline, but above the value area high, and we do reject and we fall back inside that volume profile, we do have a very, very high probability of not only filling the volume profile, but potentially coming all the way down to the bottom of the pitchfork, where you can see a key anchored VWAP will be resting down in that area. And that anchored VWAP is from our prior all-time high. And if we want to maintain strength on Bitcoin, the overall strength, we want to maintain above the volume-weighted average price of our last all-time high. Maintaining above this volume-weighted average will continue to show strength for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's looking strong. I am bullish on Bitcoin. I am expecting higher targets. looking good everywhere. What we see, money flow looks very good. 2 hour money flows coming to the upside. Printed a hidden bull div earlier Tuesday. We printed a hidden bull div yesterday. If we go out, zoom out to the 4 hour chart, 4 hour money flow looks very bullish on both NAMI and Market Cipher B. We did see NAMI print those two hidden bull div signals as we were rising, as we were seeing pullbacks in this little rise to the upside that we've been seeing over the past week. Zooming out to the daily time frame, money flow is looking bullish on NAMI, on Market Cipher B, and on NAMI. They are both looking bullish. So we are seeing very, very bullish signals on the charts. No warning signs here. We are potentially developing some bearish, bearish divs on the momentum waves, but they're not confirmed yet. This daily momentum wave has not topped out, and it looks like it does have more room to run. Now, once this daily momentum wave starts to roll over and confirm the bear div, this is where things can get very hectic and very interesting with a much bigger crash in store. Because you can see ever since we were down here, really at about $95,000, about the POC of our macro range for the year of 2025. You can see that we have been building bear divs on the chart. Drive a bear div there, and now this here is not a drive a bear div because that is a higher momentum wave, but we are building a second drive of bear divs here. But what's more important than that even is the money flow has topped out around our 112K all-time high back in May. And since May, on the daily time frame, money flow has been draining out of the asset with these small rises in money flow. So if we see this momentum wave start to top out and roll over, money flow starts to top out and roll over, it will confirm our local drive of daily bear divs with a regional drive of money flow bear divs on the daily time frame. So once this signal starts flashing for us, I will be definitely taking a lot of profits on my Bitcoin positions, potentially looking for swing short positions to see a much bigger dump to the downside. I will keep you guys updated on that. We will be following this throughout the live streams and throughout the videos on the channel. And if you guys are part of the Telegram group, I will show that in the Telegram group and keep you updated in the Telegram group as well. Okay, so speaking of the Telegram group, speaking of our partners of the channel, we do have a partner, BYDFI. They are a VPN-free and KYC-free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link, you deposit just $100. You can get a 50% deposit bonus for depositing that $100. You'll get 17% discounts on your trading fees. And in my opinion, the best part is I have partnered with Telegram. We have created a Telegram group where if you sign up using the affiliate link, deposit the $100, you can sign up for free for that Telegram group, and you can get access to my market analysis and some of my trade setups. I post setups on alts, not only Bitcoin, but a lot of altcoins. We've been really hitting some good trades in the past couple of weeks on some of the altcoins during this run. So if you're interested in signing up for the Telegram group, first, you need to sign up with BYDFI using the affiliate link. You need to deposit $100 into your account. And then once you've done that, go into the description link in the video, click on the Telegram, the link to join the Telegram channel. And once you're in there, you can type in /verify and then your user ID number. That is this number right up here. And that will automatically put you in the Telegram group, and you can join and follow along with us in the Telegram. Second partner of the channel is NAMI Trading. And NAMI Trading, this is a momentum and money flow indicator that has really helped me with my entry and exit confirmations, especially the money flow and the hidden bull and hidden bear div signals are great on NAMI. NAMI is a little bit quicker than Market Cipher B, so if you're a scalper, NAMI is a scalper's paradise, really gives really good signals. If you are interested in purchasing NAMI, the link is in the description, and I do have a 50% off discount code. If you sign up using my affiliate link and use the discount code DIVINE50, you can get 50% off lifetime subscription to NAMI. If you are interested, both the link and the discount code are in the description. And then lastly, we do have two other exchanges, MEXC. They're one of the best reputable exchanges, low fees. They are offering a 20% initial deposit bonus. If you deposit $100, you can get $20 cash back, initial deposit bonus, and you can get up to $300 in futures trading fee bonuses just for starting to trade on futures markets. And then second, we do have Bybit. Bybit is one of the largest, most reputable exchanges in the world. They are offering up to $30,000 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much you deposit and how much you trade in your futures markets. I do recommend Bybit. They are one of the most reputable, well-tested exchanges. And if I was in an area where I was not restricted to use them, I would be using them. So if you are interested in any of those exchanges, the three exchanges and in NAMI, all the links are in the description below. Let's get back to the TA here. Okay, guys, Ethereum. Ethereum is just continuing to just rally and push like no other. So let's go ahead and talk about Ethereum. I have been projecting that Ethereum was going to pump at least to 45, 64, 45, yeah, 45, 34 for the past month or so. We've been really looking at Ethereum in a bigger impulse to the upside, where that impulse should bring us up to at least the top of the pitchfork and potentially, actually, ultimately to break new all-time highs and to continue higher. So we can see here that Ethereum is continuing this impulsive price action, and we could still, I actually do still think it is most probable that we are in the third wave still of this impulse. We've been talking about that 1.618 Fibonacci target being the target for a third wave, but that's not where the third wave has to end. We have seen many altcoins go past the 1.618 all the way to the 2.618 and the 3.618 Fib targets. So Ethereum is still continuing the impulse to the upside. We have broken out of the pitchfork, continuing to break up just hundreds of dollars away from the all-time high. Money flow is looking very bullish on the daily time frame on both NAMI and on Market Cipher B. We are close to developing and confirming those bear divs on the daily time frame. So we do need to watch for a swing failure pattern of the all-time high to potentially end our third wave, to see a much bigger fourth wave pullback that could last a month or so, a couple weeks to a month. And then we could see that fifth wave come in to complete this impulse to the upside, where we could top out for the season, top out for the cycle. But Ethereum is bullish, and we are seeing a lot of bullish momentum continue on Ethereum. If we do zoom in onto the 4-hour chart, Ethereum is starting to see that money flow topping out a little bit, but we have still not really confirmed any bear divs on Market Cipher B on the 4-hour chart. And actually, it looks like now with the last 4-hour candle that's printing, money flow is continuing to rise to the upside. If you look at NAMI, money flow is continuing to rise to the upside. We had some bear divs printed within this range that we were in for a few days, but they have now been invalidated, and we are continuing to push up here on Ethereum. So all indications are for higher. If we zoom into the 2-hour chart, this is where money flow has really been kind of flat and topping out here. And you can see on NAMI, money flow is starting to curve to the downside with a lot of bearish divergences printing locally on NAMI here. So and Market Cipher B does have those bearish divs as well. So I will be looking for a swing failure pattern of the all-time high. But if we do not get that swing failure pattern of the all-time high, the next target I will be looking for potential resistance on Ethereum. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. Let's do the 12-hour chart here. And if we look at this pitchfork that has been such an important pitchfork since the bottom of Ethereum, it's really guided us on these ranges and on these macro levels for Ethereum. The back test of the upper band bring us a breakout to pretty much to new all-time highs, or close on its way to new all-time highs. But we can look at, once we have a pitchfork like this that has been really highly respected through the entire impulse up, and we break out of the top of that pitchfork, now we can take this pitchfork, the same pitchfork, and we can put it onto its most extreme angle, which is the original angle. And if we change this to an original pitchfork, now we are going to come in here and we are going to look at whether it is still respected. Well, you can see our first range down here was on support of the lower band. The midline acted as resistance for a couple months, gave us a nice big rejection before breaking above it. And you can see on the two highs that we made in the last couple of weeks or last couple of months, it was a rejection from the top of the lower band. But after bouncing from our macro value area high, we are now pushing up towards the top of the pitchfork. And the top of this pitchfork is going to be coming in around $5,300 here, $52 to $5,300 for Ethereum. So if we do not SFP the all-time highs, I am still concerned in watching for what's called a swing failure pattern of the all-time high. And what that means is that you come above the level, you pierce above the level, you grab the liquidity above, and then you fall back down below it. That would be a confirmed short signal for me where I would put my stop, my short. I would short upon the loss of that all-time high. Stop would go above wherever that wick was, and I would probably be targeting down where the pitchfork band is. Again, a bullish backtest of that pitchfork band. But if we do not swing fail and liquidity grab the all-time high, then I will be looking up towards that $52 to $5,300 mark for this impulse that we are in right now to potentially end and to see a much bigger correction. If we keep doing something like this, I will look at that $5,300 area where then we could see a much bigger correction come in for a bit before seeing our last fifth wave to the upside. Look, coming up to the $6,000-$7,000 level. Okay, but Ethereum is looking bullish, and we are just continuing to push up. Now, if we zoom in here on the 2-hour time frame, you can see how well this upper band is even being respected. We broke above it. First, it was acting as resistance for the last couple of months. We break above it, and that is where we formed our range all last week. We back tested that upper band 2 or 3 times over the week, and now we are starting to continue that impulsive price action to the upside. So all indications are for me is that Ethereum absolutely can make it up to this $52 to $5,300 level. Really, it's going to be closer to $5,260 to about $5,300, depending on how long it takes to get up there. But I am bullish on Ethereum. I'm still long on Ethereum. We did long Ethereum. I gave this long setup in the Telegram about a week before we even came down there. As we were forming this range here, I was looking for Ethereum to come down to backtest our macro value area high in confluence with our pitchfork band of our modified skiff pitchfork. And we bounced from that area. We are still long from that area. Now, I did tell you guys that I was going to close the long trade at 45.34. Yesterday, we hit that area during the live stream. I closed 85% of the position. So I still have 15% of the position running from this general area. And my next planned close will be at that $52 to $5,300 area. That's about it for Ethereum. Ethereum's looking bullish. Looks like continuation's going to keep going. Let's keep going on to Solana. Guys, Solana is breaking out of the value area high of our macro range, coming back to, let's zoom out to the daily time frame. This is our range that goes back to March of 2024. You can see this time we're breaking out of that range. We did bounce from our local 0.5 Fibonacci. If you guys want to watch more about that, go check out yesterday's live stream. But we were looking at an impulse. Let's actually just zoom in real quick. We were looking at an impulse. First of all, we bounced from the support box that we had marked out and shown ahead of time. We see our 1, 2, 3 in our wave 4 retrace. We bounced from the point of control of our smaller range in confluence with that 0.5 Fibonacci. And now we are in our fifth wave pushing to the upside. Now, this could be an extended fifth wave. I am looking at 2 targets above us, but we are breaking out of, more importantly, we're breaking out of the macro value area high at $189. So very bullish signal that we are attempting a breakout again. Now, look at the last time we attempted to break out of this. It looked very similar. We were starting to get that choppy type price action above it, about the same height above it as well. And then we ended up seeing a failed auction type price action and dumping back inside our range. But because we've already seen one fake out and dump back in the range, this time it's more likely to be a real breakout of this macro volume profile. So I have a couple price targets above where I'm looking. I am still long on Solana from this $175 area. And my next take profit is going to be the daily that's coming in about 216.5. Let's just say 216.5. We have a daily level. But the level of resistance that I have a box at and that I've really highlighted is the big level of resistance above us. We've been talking about it in the live streams and in the videos for over a month, is our level of confluence where we do have a monthly level, we have a naked weekly POC, and we have a weekly level up in that area. Not a weekly level, a daily level. Daily level up there as well. So this box of resistance between 232 and 238 is going to be the next big resistance zone for Ethereum, not for Ethereum, for Solana, excuse me. So I will take a partial TP at this daily If we do reject from the daily, I will take some profit out. But the next major area of resistance where I plan to take profit and potentially short Solana is going to be between 232 and 238. That is the next big level for Solana. If we break above that, then we have a naked weekly point of control, a daily level, and a weekly level around 252 to 256. So that is going to be our next big box of resistance. But Solana is looking strong. Let's go ahead and turn off some of these levels now. Solana is looking very strong. We are breaking out of the macro volume profile. If we can start closing daily candles above this macro volume profile, and especially the weekly candle above this $189 area, then I do think Solana will continue to see continuation to the upside. And honestly, Solana could be about to break out huge. If we look at our lows at $96, we see a clear impulse up to about $185 or $200 area. Then we saw that was our wave one of an impulse. Then we saw a retrace in a wave two to our golden pocket area. Then we saw another impulse up here to about the $206 area of resistance. Then we saw another small pullback to that golden pocket area. Actually, I think it was our 0.5 area. Let's pull that fib real quick. It was our golden pocket area. It was to our golden pocket area. And remember, a wave four cannot retrace to a golden pocket. So what this tells me in a very bullish scenario, and this is exactly how you want to see this develop, is a double 1-2 impulse to the upside where you have a wave one, a wave two, a secondary wave one, and a secondary wave two. Now that's your primary wave one and wave two, and this is your internal wave one and wave two, or your secondary wave one and wave two. Your secondary wave one and two is usually smaller than your first one in time and price, which it does align that way. And then after seeing that second one too, you can explode up in a third wave where you see that big giant impulse with volume and speed to the upside in a wave three. After your wave three ends, you could see your 4-5, 4-5 to end. You have your 2-1-2s, you get your 2-4-5s at the end. And so for me on the daily time frame, the most bullish scenario is that we are in a double 1-2 impulse to the upside, potentially breaking out to not only new all-time highs, but potentially to much higher targets, $370, $400 up into that area and finishing this impulse. So we will look more at that as this develops. But for me, I am very bullish on Solana. Solana is one of my biggest holdings that I hold, one of my favorite altcoins to trade. If you look at the money flow on the daily time frame, money flow looks very, very bullish. No bull divs confirmed yet, or bear divs, excuse me, confirmed yet. Money flow on NAMI looking very bullish. We do have some bear divs confirmed on NAMI, but they are not that money flow is going to overpower that. So once we see the bearish divs on money flow, that's when I will start getting concerned. But seeing this breakout above the value area high of our macro range is telling me that Solana at least wants to come up to its next major resistances at 232 and 256. If we actually pull a Fibonacci from our all-time high down to our correction lows, and we turn on the, first of all, we have to turn that on log scale because that's more than a 30% drop to the downside. And then we go ahead and turn on our macro 786. You can see that 786, that macro 786 is going to be coming in right at that monthly level, right at the bottom of our box of resistance. So for me, the most important area of resistance is really that $231 to $232 area. Monthly level there, naked weekly point of control daily. This purple box of resistance here is the next major resistance target for me on Solana, with some small resistances in the meantime. Daily level at 216. We have that daily level. Let's get rid of some of these old dailies in here. I will go through that later. Anyways, yeah, 216, 232. Solana's looking bullish. I do expect continuation on Solana. Going into SUI. SUI, guys, is, first of all, we talked about this in yesterday's live stream, but we finally broke back out after bouncing from our support level, being the anchored VWAP and our local liquidity grab down below these lows. We have now broken back above our descending channel, and we are back testing that descending channel and seeing the continuation to the upside. Now, the last time we came up into this value area high, this was the value area high at 445 to 447. We did reject that value area high, and that goes back all the way to November of 2024. So our range that goes back over a year long, or about a year long, and not year, 9 months long. We are starting to see a breakout of the channel this time, back testing the channel, breaking out, and coming up to our next levels of resistance. So we do have a resistance level coming in with the 886 Fibonacci retrace coming in right around that weekly level between like 430 and 432. That is also going to be a daily level. You can see we're on the daily chart. It's also a daily level right in there. But the big area of resistance to get above is going to be the same purple box we rejected from last time we came up into this. I had this box on the chart and we were expecting this rejection, but because we've already tested that value area high once, now we want to see a breakout through that value area high, a back test of that area, and continuation up to new all-time highs. With this bigger Elliott wave theory, we did see a very clean 5-wave impulse in here. We saw that could be our wave 1 of our big weekly impulse. We saw a pullback in a wave 2, a zigzag family structure to our golden pocket and to our channel midline. We bounced from that area. We were also looking to buy spot there and do swing long positions. And now we are breaking out potentially in another 1-2. We have our first 1-2, second 1-2, and we could be seeing a big 3 breaking us out to new all-time highs and potentially much higher on SUI. So I am expecting SUI to continue up in this area to see impulsive price action. Daily time frame, money flow looks good. We did have a hidden bearish divergence at the on this Saturday, but we did get that small pullback, back tested our breakout of the channel, and we are continuing to push up. So for me, SUI, the next major resistance level, let's go ahead and turn on our levels on the chart. We have a no naked weeklies. Okay, we have the weekly level coming in right at 524, right near your all-time high. You can see we also have some liquidity coming up into that area. And if we turn on our daily levels, we do have a couple daily levels that are going to be there in the meantime. Let me get rid of this guy. So we have a daily level coming in at 466. Let's just say 466. That is going to be coming up above the value area high of the range. So what we could be looking at is a breakout of that value area high, rejection from the daily, bullish back test of the value area high, and continuation up to, we have a daily at $5, but really more importantly, I'm looking at that zone of the 524 weekly up to about 535, where we do have some internal liquidity up here and the all-time highs. SUI is looking good and looking primed to break out to new all-time highs. The most important thing on Solana, on SUI right now, the most important resistance on the chart right now is still going to be the macro value area high coming in around $4.45. That is the area where we do need to see a break and a break of resistance and a flip to support on. So for me, I will be watching for a swing failure pattern of our prior highs at 443 into that value area high. And if we do see a swing failure pattern coming above, grabbing the liquidity and falling back underneath that value area high, I will potentially again look for another short position. Now, if you really want to be comfortable, you can wait until we pierce above the value area high, fall back inside it, and lose the weekly and back test that weekly on low time frames as resistance and then start falling. So you could look for a short from the weekly bearish back test. Wick would go above the highs, and then you could target really the lows of the range of this range in here, because we are forming a range. If you pull a range this way, sideways, this could be a range where we could see this range continue. But that is SUI for you. SUI is looking bullish, and we are coming up to our next resistance levels. Really, that weekly at 432 is the next major level. You can see here on the daily time frame, we do have this big daily fair value gap that we are starting to fill. And once you start to fill a fair value gap, you will often get sucked up through that fair value gap, and that fair value gap will end at that weekly resistance. Okay, on to SAY. Say is now coming up to the upper band of the pitchfork again, guys. Say has just been so nice. We have been, we longed this 28 cent area on Say. Let me go ahead and just get rid of that now. We are still within our range, but we are breaking out of the value area high of that range today, which was in confluence with with the bottom of our upper pitchfork band. But let's go ahead and zoom out on Say and let's look at Say here because Say, we saw a giant after seeing the biggest impulse in Say's life, really from the launch. Huge impulse on Say. Then we had a massive three-wave correction coming right down to that 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction target, the correction target. It also happened to be the exact bottom of our bearish pitchfork. So we have bounced from that area. You can see we came up. We did see a rejection from the lower band once. We came up to the midline. We rejected the midline. We grinded all the way down in complex corrective structures to backtest that lower band. Once we flip that lower band to support, we skyrocketed up. And let's go ahead and just hide this range for a second. We skyrocketed up, broke above the channel midline, the pitchfork midline. And once we got above, let's actually come into the 8-hour chart. Once we got above that pitchfork midline, we came down, we back tested it. By the way, I called for this long exactly at 24.67 because there was a local golden pocket there as well. And we did take this long in the Discord, in Jason's Discord. We didn't have the Telegram group back then, but bounced from the bullish backtest of the reclaim of that, or the break and flip to support of our midline, and we worked our way up to that upper band. Now you can see we have been struggling at the upper band, rejecting the top of the upper band. We had a rejection at the bottom of the upper band. This 38-cent area is where our macro log golden pocket was. So if we pull a golden pocket from the highs of this dump to the lows of this dump, and you can see where is your golden pocket coming in. It was right at the top of the band here. That's why we longed 24.67 with a take profit at 38 cents because it was our macro log golden pocket in confluence with the top of the pitchfork band. Now, after rejecting from that area, we saw a very clear three-wave corrective move, making a higher low, and now we are starting to break up again. So to me, Say is really bullish, and I expect Say to continue breaking up really to the top of the pitchfork, coming up to the top of our macro pitchfork, maybe even to our 786 around 50 cents, 51 cents. But if we look at this, Say is right now, as we speak, coming up to the top of the band. And actually, I do have another local take profit on a scalp trade at this 36.41 area. We rejected our resistance a couple days ago, but we made a higher low into the golden pocket, and now we're breaking that resistance so we can get rid of this box. This was a scalp resistance box that did work for a short trade, and it did work for a TP level. Now we are breaking above, hitting into the upper band of the pitchfork. Now, if we can break above this upper band of the pitchfork at around 36.4 or 364, then I do think we can see continuation up to our naked weekly point of control at 41 and our daily at 42. So between 41 and 42 cents is our next area of resistance. But overall, I expect Say to continue pushing up. Let's zoom out onto our 8-hour time frame again. I expect Say to continue pushing up. If we break the pitchfork band, the upper band, I expect Say to continue moving up to the weekly level of resistance at 46 cents, which would be in confluence with the top of our bearish pitchfork. Now, those are our two next major levels. So I am expecting some sort of rejection within the 41 to 42 cent area to put in a higher low before pushing back up to test the top of the pitchfork band and the weekly area. So we will be looking at these pivots in the live streams, in the telegrams, and we will be long and strong, taking profits, looking for short scalps, and looking for scalp longs on the pullbacks to bring up to that 46-cent area. Now, the really bullish thing on Say is we break the 46-cent area, and Say could see a massive run. If we break this bearish structure that we've been grinding through for months now, we've been grinding through it since April. If we can break this bearish structure to the upside, then we could come up and grab the liquidity of the highs around that 74-cent area relatively quickly and potentially push up to make new all-time highs on Say. I am bullish on Say, and I am expecting continuation. If we look at our money flow, very, very bullish on the daily time frame, just crossing it over into the green on the daily time frame on NAMI, and continuation is likely for Say. At least coming up to that 46-cent area is highly probable, in my opinion. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to XRP. XRP is just it's still been in this range. This range we've been in now for about 9 months, and XRP is we broke out of the macro. Let's actually hide this little guy real quick here. We broke out of our macro range. We made new all-time highs, back tested that macro range value area high, and now we are continuing to push up here on XRP. First off, overall on XRP, I do want to say I expect new all-time highs. We have been covering the impulse on XRP from our macro log 382. We saw all-time highs back in January of 2025, multi-month correction bouncing from our log 382, which the 382 often acts as strong support in a strong trend. You cannot get much stronger than this right here. We bounced from that area. The second we bounced from that area with such a strong buy wick on the daily, I expected new all-time highs. So we were looking for impulsive price action to make new all-time highs. Well, you can see very clearly a daily impulse up here to the value area high of the range in a wave one. We pulled back to our golden pocket in the value area low of the range in a wave two. We pushed up directly into our 1.618 for a wave three. We saw our three wave zigzag correction exactly to the 0.5 in a wave four. And now we're expecting a wave five impulse to come up to break up to new all-time highs. Overall, coming between 388 and 424. I'm expecting and potentially even higher than that. So those are the areas that I'm going to be looking for XRP overall to break out to. I am bullish on XRP, looking to still finish this 5-wave impulse to the upside, making, again, new all-time highs. But let's zoom in on lower time frames and let's talk about on the 1 hour time frame. We do have a smaller range that we have been trading in. And let's go ahead and come in here, turn that range back on. This is our range that we've been trading in for about a month now. About a month now we've been trading in this range. You can see we keep rejecting the value area high of this range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections from the value area high. Right now, as we speak, over the last couple of hours, we are attempting to break out of the value area high of this range. And the next target of resistance for me personally on the charts is going to be the weekly level of resistance in confluence with our 786 Fibonacci pull around 345 to 346. I am still long. We did actually long around 315, the back test here, and it was also our 0.5 Fibonacci target. If we pull from the lows of this 3 to the highs here, and we look at that 0.5. Oops, let me get. You can see that we bounced from that 314 area of support, that 0.5, which is in confluence with the point of control, and now we're pushing up. So very locally on the 1 hour time frame, we're also in an impulse, a wave one, wave two, wave three, wave four, and now we're expecting a wave five to come up to break up. So locally, if we pull a target from the highs of wave four to the lows of wave four, and we throw on our wave five targets, we can see that our targets are between the 1.236 and the 1.618. Well, where else do we have confluence on the chart? You can see our 1.236 is coming in right around our weekly and our 786. So I am looking for the next level of resistance where I will take a large percentage of my scalp trade from 315, take out maybe 80-90% profit at this area, expecting this 5-wave impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave impulse to be done. Then we would want to see a retrace, a bigger 3-wave retrace, potentially down to your golden pocket of the entire move up. So we can just pull up a theoretical fib, and we will turn on golden pocket, potentially down to that $3 area before seeing another push up in your wave five. In our bigger daily wave five, we are going to want to see more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming potentially up to 424. So I am looking overall on XRP being bullish within your big daily fifth wave impulse to the upside or your weekly impulse to the upside on the fifth wave. We're looking for smaller 5-wave impulses followed by 3-wave corrections, followed by smaller impulses, 3-wave corrections, potentially up to that 424 target. So next level of resistance, 345 to 346, really. This area right in here. Potential scalp short position there. We could look for a short bringing down to that $3 area, or we can even look at the 0.5 Fibonacci from that area. And we will look at that once our fifth wave is in. So XRP looking bullish. If we look on the 8-hour time frame, money flow is just crossing up into the green now. We did print a hidden bull div signal on Monday of this week when we bounced from the point of control of our range, and we are attempting to break out of this range right now. Now, I will warn you, there is a potential that we could still range in this smaller volume profile for a little bit longer. And it would, in some ways, invalidate this small 5-wave impulse to the upside. The highest probability for me is to break up to that 345 level. But if we do reject from this area and see a failed breakout, then we could be seeing a larger flat correction in your wave 4 before seeing that fifth wave come up. And this larger flat sideways 4 is common in fourth waves. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do reject again and we do make one more attempt seeing a flat correction, an A, B flat, a C coming down, taking out the lows that we just saw. That is what I'm looking at on XRP. But overall, XRP is looking bullish, expecting 345 and then continuation to new all-time highs. Okay, lastly, let's go into Chainlink. Guys, Chainlink yesterday, we were talking about our naked weekly point of control at 23.18 in confluence with the pitchfork midline of our pitchfork. We had bounced from the lower band, bounced from the bottom of the pitchfork, came up, had some resistance around the lower band, fell down to the bottom again, bounced, found some resistance, support, came up to the value area high of our 2-year long range. Let's zoom out onto the daily chart. So this range goes back to November of 2023, about a year and a half long range, a year and 10 months or 9 months. Now we are breaking out of the value area high of the range with volume supported moves to the upside. Money flow looks very bullish on the daily time frame on both Market Cipher B and NAMI. Money flow is doing well. Yes, some bear divs are starting to develop, but they are not confirmed yet. But the next area of resistance that I'm looking at now that we're breaking above this pitchfork midline, we are looking to come up to our box of resistance around 24.89 to about 25.6. If we turn on our levels, we do have a naked weekly, naked daily point of control up there. We do have a weekly level and we have a monthly level. You can see all three of those smashed inside that purple box of resistance. Weekly, monthly, naked daily point of control, all up in this area between 24.89 and 25.6. That's the next area of resistance. Now, I will say this. Chainlink has broken above the pitchfork midline, and even on lower time frames, we have now flipped that midline to support, or really flip the naked weekly point of control to support, and we're continuing to push up to this box. Yes, money flow is developing some pretty bad bearish divs, and even our momentum waves on the hourly chart, you can see how bad these bear divs are now getting. Multiple drives of bear divs with money flow bear divs now starting to confirm. That's why I do think we can see a pullback from this $25 area. But what we want to see is we really want to maintain above this pitchfork midline now at about $23. It's pretty much at 23 even, at $23 even. If we reject from the $25 area, come down to 23 and flip it to support, then I expect continuation up. Ultimately, yes, we will see some bounces and retrace along the way up there, but around that $31 area is where our next major resistance is going to be, the upper pitchfork band. We also have, if we turn on our levels again, monthly level, that's, let's see here, where was it? We have a weekly level at the top of the pitchfork band at 33.7, and we have those daily levels coming in at 31 and 34. So between really this $31 area is the next major area of resistance. Yes, we have a weekly at 29. We'll probably see a small rejection from that area. Naked weekly point of controls, naked daily point of controls, and yes, okay. And that $29 area is going to be the next major area. Well, we have 25, 29.2, 31, and 34, 33, 34. Those are our big areas of resistance on the chart. I expect Chainlink to keep pushing to the upside, potentially breaking through these areas, seeing small rejections in bullish momentum, making higher highs and higher lows, pushing up to continue this bullish momentum to the upside. I will be looking for a pullback at 25 and a potential head short position at $25 if this bearish divergence on momentum and money flow continues to develop on the hourly chart and on some other time frames, 4-hour chart. But overall, it's looking good, and we're breaking above the pitchfork midline. I expect continuation if we can break above 25, eventually up to 31 with a small pullback at 29, maybe something like rejection, come up here, rejection, come down here, come up to that area. Maybe we see this kind of choppiness end towards that $31 and we get that bigger retrace all the way back down to 23, and then we could target bigger levels. So that's something we will pay attention to over the next weeks. If you guys want to join me and follow me on this journey of trading the altcoins, checking the levels, checking the divergences, and trading on a daily basis with me, you guys come join me in the Telegram. Sign up for BYDFI, deposit $100, join the Telegram. It's free to join. All you need to do is sign up using the affiliate link. It's your money to trade. And join me on my live streams. I live stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I put out a video every other day except weekends. Don't trade much on weekends, sometimes Sundays. But thank you guys for everything. If you got anything out of this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for a live stream.